All right, everybody. It is a big day today. Welcome back to the 100% free-to-play Zero to Hero series in Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. And we are logging in today on the first day of the brand new set. I've saved up some decent resources. I've got at least about 17,000 rupees. Realistically, I've got more from different things. I've actually got my login bonus available, everybody. So the first thing that we're going to test actually is if you save your login bonus, can you actually get the new pack? Yes, you can get the new pack. So that's actually pretty cool. So little trick for everybody just right off the bat there. Save your login bonus if you can, if it doesn't pop right at the same time as the new pack. So what are we doing, everybody, today? We are opening some brand new Infinity Evolved packs. Let's get into it. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts about all the new cards. Everybody, I'm not like, ooh, by the way, this is kind of a pretty pack, kind of cool coloring. All right, I'm not like super Mr. Professional Ultra Pro in Shadowverse, but I have played the game quite a bit at this point. I really wish you could actually click cards, by the way, as you're opening them. Okay, that's cool looking. Premium. Wait a second, is that 2 premium cards in a row? So we're going to open quite a few packs here. I think I'm going to break this up probably into maybe 2 videos or so, because I'm also going to read all of these cards for the first time, everybody. And so for those who are basically just looking to kind of get some thoughts from another player, just interested to hear other people's thoughts, let's go ahead and get into it. I am going in almost completely blind, so let's get started with Wild Heart. This is a Forestcraft 3/3 for 3 neutral card, and it has Rush. All right, my initial impression is nothing too crazy to talk about that one. Maybe it could be okay. Not sure. I don't see it being, too crazy or anything. Twin Blade Goblin. Okay, a neutral. Got myself pretty cool looking premium here. 1/1 for 1 fanfare. If there's a super evolved allied follower on the field, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 4 damage. Okay, could this have some kind of very niche usages? Speaking of Forestcraft, I just opened this first Forestcraft card. I think that's going to be probably the next class I'm going to play is going to be Forestcraft. Just started playing it just a little bit at the end of last season, tiny bit. I really like the playstyle. I think it's an interesting, cool deck. And, they have these turns where they basically try to kind of plow through at the very end. Maybe you could throw this Twin Blade Goblin in. This is almost kind of like a budget version of that gold card that deals 4 damage. It's not going to be as good because you have to play this after your combo cards, but I don't know, maybe try to like force throw in with like a Forestcraft finishing kind of turn. Kind of, yeah, budget version of that 4/4 gold that deals 4. That one's probably strictly better. So maybe kind of interesting kind of budget finisher for those who don't have a lot of stuff to, on a turn, they want to go all in and finish their opponent off. All right, Melvie Adoring Witch. And especially because this is a neutral card, what about like, for example, in Abysscraft also, like you get your big Cerberus turn going. Maybe you can kind of force through some final damage. Play Cerberus with 9 mana, attack with one of the things, then play this and kill one of their blockers. I don't know. Maybe you could try some interesting stuff with it. All right. Okay, everybody, we've got our first Runecraft card. Going to be very excited to see the Runecraft cards. Melvie Adoring Witch. By the way, I did look at a decent chunk of the spoilers. It was pretty much all legendaries and gold. So I basically haven't really seen any of the silvers and bronzes, but I've seen a lot of the legendaries and golds at the point. So basically everything other than legendary golds, I'm pretty much going in blind. All right, fanfare, add a Witch's New Brew to your hand. Oh, wow. That's the 1 mana. Wow, draw a card. Okay, so far I'm pretty interested in this card, everybody. Whoa. If there's a super evolved allied follower on the field, gain 2 Earth Sigils. Okay, now that one has my interest totally peaked. That's basically been exactly the archetype I've been kind of interested in. I do often end up using the coin or whatever it's called, extra play point, to end up playing a Remy after I did the Astrologer last month. I did that like about approximately 1 million times. This one you wouldn't be able to do it, but the boosting into Remy wasn't always that great, to be honest. Almost better to just boost into like, of course, an Anna Grey or a Juno. So I'm really interested in that Melvie Adoring Witch. I'll probably end up trying that one out for sure. I'm definitely going to be playing Earth Sigil Runecraft for sure this month for those interested in that deck. Dwarven Mallet Man. All right, another Forestcraft card. Fanfare. All right, so we got my Runecraft and Forestcraft, which is the class I'm probably going to end up trying out next after Runecraft and playing quite a bit of and try to take it pretty far, maybe play some lobby tournaments and stuff. Let's see. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 4 damage. All right, so far, not feeling too good. Combo 3. Deal damage to all enemy followers instead. Okay, you got to get a 3 combo. It's not too hard to get that in Forestcraft, and then you basically deal 4 to all enemy followers. There's a lot of other options for this kind of stuff. And I'm not sure if this Forest general game plan that most of the better Forest decks, as I understand it, are running. All right, it's not jumping out to me as super amazing, but as always for me, I like trying cards out. So by the way, if you're watching this and you're interested in, kind of following along a channel that actually like tries all these different cards out, you're going to be probably seeing me try a lot of these cards out. Good or bad, I like to just kind of have fun and try them out and just really fully analyze everything as best I can. Ooh, we got another 2-drop Runecraft Arcane Archivist. All right, I'm excited. Here we go. Fanfare, select a card in your hand and return it to deck and draw a spell. Oh, wow. Interesting. So the first half, we've already got this effect multiple times. We've already got 2 different cards. We've got the Astrologer, and then there's the neutral card that already brings a card back to your deck, but then this one draws a spell specifically. Phew, boy, I really kind of have no idea, to be honest, if that's going to be great or not. I'm going to be honest. My intuition is that this is not going to be that great because typically typically when you're playing these guys on 2 mana, you're looking for things like Anangreas and other early turns. I don't think this is going to be like a huge game changer for Runecraft, but I don't know. I could almost just put like 1 dimension climb into the deck and have no other spells and have all your spell boost stuff just be creatures. That could be an interesting thing to kind of test out and play with. That sounds kind of fun and interesting, right? All right, I figured this was a Forestcraft card with the tree guys. I guess that's another Forestcraft theme, which makes sense. 7 mana, summon 3 copies of Gentle Treant. What does that do again? Okay, strike, restore 2 defense to your leader. Oh boy, everybody. They don't have rush or anything. It has Fanfare combo 3, evolve this follower. Now, does the evolve work this? Okay, I basically have no idea of knowing if this Fanfare pops off or not. Fanfare pops off, combo 3 into the 7 mana spell, then you get 3 evolved, and they all get to restore 2 defense to your leader. Y'all, if you're interested in Forestcraft, I'm just really confident. It is going to depend on our pulls we get from these packs. If I get like absolutely amazing pulls from one class and absolutely nothing from, say, Forestcraft, maybe that could sway me a little bit. But I really want to try to play kind of like a more control-oriented version of Forestcraft, and those 3 end up evolving when they come out. I don't know, maybe I'll try it. That would be 3 6/6s, restore 3 defense. You have a huge board afterwards. 6 power is pretty crucial right now because it gets through Orcus. I have a feeling that's going to be everywhere now. Orcus is running all over, I'm sure. I may try that out if that actually works. Don't know if the Fanfare combos or not yet. We'll find out. Okay, we've got a 1/1 in Dragoncraft. Dragoncraft, I feel like could actually probably use some 1/1s. The other deck I've mostly played is like face Dragoncraft. I've actually played it a decent amount, and I wasn't playing any 1-drops except for the Fan of Otohime. Fanfare, if you're in Overflow, draw a card and it has a rush. I think that could potentially be playable in a face Dragoncraft deck, maybe. I think there's some possible potential there. Like in addition to the Fan of Otohime, maybe have that as your other 1-drop. The fact that it draws at 7 mana, maybe you could actually run that card. All right, here we go, everybody. Oh man, we're starting out with all the cards I'm super excited for. Okay, Silver Runecraft, I don't know what it does. Enchanting Fumer. Runecraft, 4-drop 3/3. So competing with me for Remy Rammy at the moment. Although for spell boost, okay, well, this is Earth Sigil. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 3 and gain an Earth Sigil. Okay, I'm pretty interested in this card already. 3/3 and deal 3 is not anything too special, obviously. Evolve, replicate the effects of this card's Fanfare ability. Oh man, y'all, this card may be totally playable. Wow, y'all, I think I may play this card. Man, everybody, just right off the bat, this is seeming totally playable to me. You know, if I want to compare, like, for me, this is how I'm going to analyze things like 4 and 5 drops. I'm going to compare them to things like, for example, Anangrea, the artifact portal card that's Alouette that, you know, everybody's basically been complaining about. And another one, for example, Swordcraft has that 4-drop 4/4. When you evolve it, you get 2 2/2s and a 6/6. That's a card that's been absolutely destroying me when I've been playing Runecraft all the time. And I like to just think, like, how does this pair up against these kind of cards? Forestcraft's also got the amazing 5/5 for, it's a 3/3, draw 2 cards, evolve it, and basically wipe your opponent's board. This card kind of pairs up decently against some of that stuff. Against the Swordcraft card, you get to deal 3 twice, so you get to kill their 6/6, and then you get a 5/5 to kill one of the 2/2s, and you get 2 Earth Sigils. I feel like that's actually like a pretty okay trade. And even against Anangrea, this is the same story. Against Anangrea, basically trades 1 for 1. It's basically even with an Anangrea. So yeah, I'm really liking the Enchanting Perfumer, to be honest. I have a strong feeling I'm gonna definitely end up trying it out at the very least. All right, awesome. Let us get into a 10-pack. Now, one of the things also real quick that I was curious about is these guaranteed legendary cards within 10 packs. I actually saved some of my Legends Rise little packs here, pack tickets, because I was thinking maybe they would share a pity timer. Okay, they do not share a pity timer. So, all right, well, I'm going to get one more legend out of Legends Rise, by the way, for 8 packs. Maybe we'll open those later. Infinity Evolve. All right, so the timer's not shared. I was thinking maybe I could use those saved up back tickets to kind of cheat the pity timer a little bit. You can't do it. So let's go ahead and open ourselves our first Infinity Evolve 10 pack. Let's do it here. And we are going to continue with my perhaps overly exhaustive analysis and thoughts on these. If you like comprehensive thoughts, everybody, you are in the right place. And wow, is that gorgeous or what? Oh man, that is just beautiful. God, I always love those animated things there. All right, we've got a regular pack. Ghostly Soiree. I'm guessing that is going to be an Abyss card. It looks really cool. All right, we already got 2 of the Treant ones. So we've analyzed that one. How about this Ghostly Soiree? All right, for 2 mana, love the art. Add a ghost, a skeleton, and a rotting zombie to your hand. Rotting zombie, I think that's that new 2/2 that comes back out. This is a storm 1/1 and banish it. Okay, I'm fine with the ghost. Skeleton is a 0 mana 1/1. Fine with skeleton. Both of those with Cerberus. Personally, I've loved playing Abyss with Cerberus, and I don't really want to play other 1-drops when I play it, but because the ghost banishes itself, it's all right. Okay, Rotting Zombie is a 3 mana 2. Last words, summon a Rotting Zombie and remove last words from it. This is a pretty interesting card, everybody. Honest, I'm pretty interested in it, actually. A lot of times on turn 2, people are basically playing 2/2s. Almost every deck, I feel like they play a turn 2 2/2 that has, you know, possibly some beneficial effect. If they have a pretty strong 2/2, you get some small effect. Here, you at least get a 1/1. So you're getting a 1/1 for 2 mana, which isn't infinitely worse than a 2/2. Plus you're getting a ghost and a Rotting Zombie. And Rotting Zombie, honestly, for 3 mana, feels pretty good to me. You get a 2/2, and then you get another 2/2. Everybody, I feel like this card has possibly some potential. I feel like some potential with that card. I'm pretty interested in that one, actually. Abyss is probably the class that I most actually want to play, but that I'm not sure if I am going to play it or not. I think Abysscraft may be kind of my kind of guilty pleasure fun class. Probably going to be really powerful one of these days, if not already. I mean, I think people are underrating it, to be honest, a little bit, but who knows. All right, Cheretta Angelic Maid, neutral 2/2 for 2. I think I might have seen this one. Fanfare, if you've unlocked Super Evolution, give this follower +0/+3. And it's got word. Okay, I did see this one in the spoilers. I think this one's got potential also, to be honest. Maybe I'm overly optimistic. I don't know. Fanfare, I feel like 2/2 ward for 2 is basically fine. It's in neutral. It's got a lot of different options. Havencraft obviously is going to be the one that's probably going to want to use it the most. And like I said, I feel like 2/2 for 2 is kind of the baseline. And if it has like a small beneficial effect, this one has ward at least for a small benefit effect. And then the Fanfare, like you're probably going to end up actually getting to use that Fanfare sometime. So I'm not going to be surprised at all to see that one played, to be honest. Let me know if I'm just being way too optimistic with all these cards and they're all trash. What do you think? All right, 4, another Runecraft. All right, here we go. This is probably all the Runecraft at this point that we've already seen. 4 for the bronzes and silvers. Class Runecraft. Glacial Crash. Select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Earthright 1, deal 2 to the enemy leader. Okay, so this is a card that, these are cards that like I'm not like totally thrilled about, to be honest. I know these can have uses. For example, I've played against Portalcraft a million times and they've played the 4 mana spell that kills an enemy follower on the field. I guess it's just going to be kind of meta dependent on how important it is to select that enemy follower on the field and destroy it. For example, against Portalcraft, they're, what am I playing against Portalcraft? They're Orcusing me over and over again. This card basically doesn't really do anything against Orcus because you have to deal with, I was saying Orcus before. I meant to say Lloyd, right? Lloyd is the name of the puppet, right? That you have to deal 6 to with those Treant guys. Glacial Crash, I think it's going to be kind of meta dependent personally, whether you're going to run it or not. I'm not super excited about it. I could easily be misjudging that though. Be really interested in that one to see what people think and see if that one ends up getting played or not. It's definitely got the potential for sure, like no doubt about it. I feel like any card that's like 4 mana, kill any creature, and it has some beneficial upside, it's probably got potential and it's probably just going to kind of depend on the meta and things like that. But like I said, I keep playing against, Swordcraft and Portalcraft over and over again. It's like all I play against. And personally, I don't know about this against those decks, Against Swordcraft on turn 4, they're playing a 6/6 and 2 2/2s and buffing their whole board. This is not really doing it for me. So I think, yeah, meta dependent personally. And I may not be necessarily rushing to try it out. All right, Intent Dragon Newt Princess. Okay, 2/2 for 2 in Dragoncraft. Okay, we could be seeing some play on this card potentially. Maybe face Dragon because I think it could use, well, actually, honestly, its 2/2 for 2s are pretty good. It's got the Spitting Newt or whatever it's called. It's a really good 2/2, honestly. And the other one, the 2/1/1s is actually really good too. So it's going to have to be pretty good, I think, to compete with those. Fanfare, if there's a Super Evolved Allied follower on the field, draw 2 cards. Oh boy. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick call on this one and say it's not good, actually. Dragoncraft, yeah. I think that card's not good. I think the other 2/2s are super strong all on turn 2, and that one on turn 2 just literally does nothing. Really situational effect. I don't see it for that card. I think it's everybody go easy on me in these early videos. I'm just opening these. I'm just reading for the first time, so I'm probably going to make some major mistakes here. I think that card is terrible, to be honest. That's my first impression. Artifact Catapult. All right, Portalcraft. All right, every Portalcraft I'm going to be hoping is absolutely terrible. Here we go. Fanfare, add a Gear of Ambition to your hand. Which one is that one? Okay, that's the red one. Not that I don't know that. I haven't played Portalcraft enough to know if it really matters which gear you get, but I'm guessing it doesn't really make a huge difference most of the time. Engage 3. Destroy this card. Jeez, it costs 5. Select an artifact follower in your hand that costs 5 or less. Here we go again. Summon an exact copy of it and give the exact copy. Oh, okay. At the end of your opponent's turn, destroy this card at least. Okay, I actually think this is a really interesting, cool card, and I think it could potentially have potential. I mean, the only thing that's really going to basically matter, I feel like, with this card is the one that deals 3 to everything on your opponent's board. I feel like by turn 3, you probably won't be able to get it by turn 3. My guess is Portalcraft is good enough. It probably won't be running 3 of those right away. In fact, I'm thinking it may not run that because it's the deck is already just so strong, and every card I think of in that deck is just so strong to the point that I don't know about that one. I could see it potentially. I guess I'm just an eternal optimist, everybody. I don't know. I could see it. But again, it's like, gaining 3 life and dealing 3 to the opponent, pretty useless, I feel like, generally most of the time, whereas just hitting all of the opponent's board for 3 and then the thing dies, I don't think it's going to be played. That's my guess. All right, Keem, Lord of Despair, another Portalcraft card. All right, we're hoping it's going to be bad. Evolve. Select an enemy follower on the field with 4 attack or less, banish it. Wow, and summon an exact copy of it. My God, isn't that super strong? Select an enemy field with 4 attack or less. Oh, let's see. Obviously, super totally completely meta dependent. This one I feel like is going to be really hard to evaluate without thinking about what else is going on in the current meta. Okay, like for example, Anangrea basically doesn't do anything against if they evolved it. If they didn't evolve it, then this card is absolutely amazing. This card is a 5 mana, 9/9 worth of stats, and you kill the Anangrea. Like, really favorable trade versus Anangrea. All right, against Forestcraft, they're going to play maybe that 5 mana, evolve it. They're going to get a 5/5. This basically does absolutely nothing. Really interesting card and probably really difficult to evaluate early on. I feel like, to be honest, I'm just gonna call it right now. It's gonna be very meta dependent on what all is kind of floating around. And if the meta determines that that card has great targets, okay, by the way, I have to start with this one. Wise Guardian Dragon, a 10 mana 4/4. I have to start. Dragoncraft probably got another absolutely garbage card. Is it just me, or I don't know? Is Dragoncraft getting a little bit shafted in this game? Activates in hand. Ooh, hold on a second. Whenever an allied follower super evolves, reduce the cost of this by 3. Ooh, Fanfare summon a 5/5 Intimidator. Okay, everybody. I still think these 5/5 Intimidators, I think they're really underrated, to be honest, by people. I never really see them played, but just I feel like they have so much potential. So you keep this in your hand, you super evolve twice, and this becomes a 4 mana 4/4, and you get the Vast Swing. You'd have to leave this card in your hand from the beginning, and it would do literally absolutely nothing. I think this is going to be more of a face style. You could play a fan of Otohime, and you just get rid of this thing if you're not able to do anything with it. If you get 1 pop, it just becomes a 7 mana 4/4 and 5/5, which is basically fine. And then if you get the 2 pops, then it's like pretty good. But at that point, you're so late in the game that I don't know that it's really that useful anymore that late in the game. So I'm going to say I don't have super high hopes for it. If the right deck is able to get the thing to work, then it's basically just okay or good at that point. It's nothing crazy at that point. All right, that's my opinion. VR Heart Slayer Fanfare. Select a puppetry follower in your hand and transform it into a Doll Slayer. What on earth is that? Whoa, what the heck is this? 1/1 Ambush. Ambush is so good, I still think, by the way. Last word summon. Okay, what is a VR Heart Slayer? Wait a second. Fanfare. Do you get the Fanfare? Select a puppetry follower in your hand and transform it. Okay, so you play this, you get the 1/1 in your hand, and then you last words it to get... Does this thing just... It doesn't loop infinitely, right? I don't know if Fanfare works. Wow, and this thing has got Bane. God, I feel like they just can't give Portalcraft a bad card. As I said, 2/2 for 2 to me is good. The fact that this has Bane, honestly, a 1/1 Bane for 2 is probably basically as good or even better than a 2/2. I feel like just a regular 2/2 with an effect. And it's got a pretty nice looking Fanfare of getting this card in your hand, which actually looks pretty good. Last words, you get to summon a 2/2. Yo, this card seems ridiculously strong to me. God, what the heck, everybody? Man, they just can't give Portalcraft a bad card. Is it just me, or is that card super strong? I'm guessing the Fanfare doesn't go off, because otherwise this would literally go infinite. It seems way too strong at that point to me. Can they give Portalcraft a bad card? That's going to be the test for opening all these cards. Rack here, or the Ordinary Knight. Okay, everybody. So there's nothing special going on with this card, everybody. It's just an Ordinary Knight. So don't expect anything. It's a Swordcraft Fanfare, draw a spell. Okay, that I feel like seems pretty interesting. Evolve, recover 2 play points. Wow, you guys, I think this card absolutely has potential. Play it on turn 4. You get a 5/5. You get to draw a spell. If there's basically just like a really good Swordcraft spell for 2 mana, then this could potentially be just like an amazing turn 4 play. Okay, really interested. I'm going to have to keep my eyes on that one. I can't quite judge it yet because I need to know, are there any great 2 mana Swordcraft spells? But my intuition on that one is that it absolutely has the potential to be decent and be playable. Lionel Ardent Elf Forcecraft. All right, maybe playing this card. Fanfare, summon 2 copies of Baby Carbuncle. And again, everybody, I want to kind of try like a multiple variants of Forcecraft. I know everybody kind of settles on the same variant, but I really want to try like a kind of a combo control style Forcecraft, because I feel like they've got some decent control cards. So stay tuned for that sub if you want to see some of that. And also if you want to see some Earth Sigil Runecraft, we're going to be playing a lot of that, and some Spell Boost, I'm sure. Runecraft this month quite a bit. Fanfare, select another allied card on the field and return it to hand. Okay, we know what this guy does, and he's going to evolve. Fanfare, I guess I don't really remember still when it summons them to, does it Fanfare or not. I can't remember if there's any cards in this game so far in the first month that had Fanfares summoning other Fanfares, but I'm gonna guess maybe it doesn't. It's not a Fanfare, and it's got word 6/6. This card, I guess I don't know exactly how it works, to be honest, with the Fanfare, so can't judge it perfectly, but initial impression of that is that it's probably not that great, to be honest. All right, next, the Luminous Sensor. Engage 1, destroy this card. This is in Havencraft, restore 4 defense to your leader. All right, I feel like that one's got some potential. In Runecraft, I was playing over and over and over all month long the restore 4 defense to my leader, and it felt quite good to do that constantly. This one basically has the same cost, but probably it's even a little bit better because you get to split it up, so you can always just play it for 3 mana or play it on turn 2 to have it for later. I think that card's quite playable, to be honest. Name Flames of Chaos. Won't be surprised at all to see that one played at least a little bit. Flames of Chaos. All right, everybody, I think this is my last Runecraft card I haven't seen. I think I saw the Golds and Legends. Class Runecraft, X starts as 0. Oh no, I did see this one. On spell boost, increase X by 1. Deal X damage. Everybody, I think this is like one of the worst cards I've ever seen in this entire game, honestly. Oh, you got to be playing a pretty dedicated spell boost deck. You have to spell boost it pretty good. You have to keep it in your hand early where it does absolutely nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now on Flames of Chaos. I saw it before. I think it's absolutely garbage. I am not even gonna probably try that card because I think it's so bad. I also saw this Undead Soldier. I did see a few silvers also. There was a Reddit thread with a bunch of cards revealed. I looked through it a little bit. And this one to me, I don't know, everybody. Am I misjudging this card? It seemed potentially pretty playable to me. Fanfare. So for 6 mana, you get 3/3 and you get 2/2/2. 2/2s, and they're going to come back out, you're setting up for potentially like a massive Cerberus turn. I feel like the best play with Cerberus was basically that 3-mana amulet where you get those 2 1/1s coming out. You can deal a ton of damage. And this here is basically just another way to set that up. On turn 6, play this. And then if you have the extra play point, you're setting up for like an insane Cerberus kill turn. I will probably try this card out if I end up actually playing some Abysscraft, which I will definitely play at least a little bit. All right, we got the premium of this 1/1, which we already covered. Cleric of Crushing. I'm guessing Havencraft. That's right. Okay, 2/4 for 3 with Ward. All right, so the body's fine so far. Evolve, select a super evolved enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Ooh, that's really interesting and cool, right? It doesn't really get to do anything at all in the early game except be a 2/4 ward for 3. I think in Havencraft that's probably fine. I guess it has this kind of defender ward archetype, and then you randomly will get to do the evolve. Potentially playable. Yeah, it seems playable. Depends probably on kind of how that deck is going to work out. Ooh, I absolutely love art on this guy. Wow, this is like one of the coolest arts in the game. I feel like. Love the art in this game, by the way, everybody. Yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on what ward is looking for. I don't really know the ward deck quite good enough to know, but seems playable, as I like to say, for pretty much every card. Raven, the Silver Bullet. All right, Bane, 3/4 for 5. Okay, so far it's going to need something pretty darn powerful to be playable, I think. Evolve, select 2 enemy followers on the field and destroy them. Deal 2 damage to your leader. Oh, everybody, why couldn't Abysscraft actually get something that's like halfway as good as the Portalcraft one where you evolve and you get to kill enemy followers, but you also get to restore health or you get to draw 2 cards? I mean, compared to that card in Portalcraft, this card is so bad. Although, I mean, honestly though, in a vacuum, the card seems good. It's like 5 mana, basically evolve and just wipe your opponent's board. There's basically like no scenario where you don't kill your opponent's whole board, right? On turn 5 with this. Bane, it guarantees it, right? Just kill 3 anything. But then, like, why does it have to get deal 2 damage to your leader? It needed to be like heal 2 damage to your leader is what it actually needed to be. Phew, boy, everybody. So that's obviously going to have to go in basically a kind of an aggro, like kind of all-in aggro face Abysscraft, which so far I haven't been able to do literally anything in this game so far. But maybe once they get enough pieces for the aggro strategy, maybe that could be playable. Name, Call of the Mega Lorca, class, Dragoncraft. I'm not ruling it out on that one. I don't know. Hard to judge. Call of the Mega Lorca, Dragoncraft, summon a majestic Mega Lorca. What does that do? It is a 2/2 with Rush. Okay, so far, this card is basically playable so far because it gets you your basic 2/2 for 2. And if you're an overflow, draw a Call of the Mega Lorca. You get another one. You get to draw it from your deck, and then you get to just keep playing them out over and over again. Okay. As I understand it, there's going to be some combo with this. I saw there was a legendary that somehow basically combos with these marine cards. I can't remember what that legendary does. By itself, just with nothing else, the card is basically fine, in my opinion. I think the card's fine. It's basically playable. You could play this as a 2-drop in like a control variant, and it's basically always just going to be fine. You get your 2/2 on turn 2, and it's fine, and then it has a cool effect later. If you draw it late in the game, you can still kind of sort of do something with it, but I need to see what that legendary does. All right, everybody. Speaking of legendaries, we are going to get our first legendary in this pack. All right, let's go ahead and see what it's going to be. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Thank you, game. Hallelujah. Thank you. That is, I believe, the Runecraft legend. It is. Everybody, we're going to be playing some Earthright Runecraft, and okay, which one is this one again? Yeah, this is the one that keeps resummoning itself. Okay, everybody, I have looked at both Runecraft legendaries. Honestly, everybody, I don't really see it for this card. I don't really know if this is playable or not in Earthright. If it is, I don't really, it's not going to be a 3 of, in my opinion. I couldn't possibly see, I don't think playing 3 of these, right? I don't know. I'm just going to give you my initial impression for this video. My initial impression was that I really didn't think this card was that strong, but this is one that I have to play this card to really feel confident one way or another about it. I mean, I could totally see how, it could be good. You play it on turn 8 and it literally just keeps coming out over and over again infinitely. The super evolve situationally can be extremely strong. Does the super evolve actually counter the Orcus play? I don't know. With Orcus, it says you have to target it first. So I don't know if you select 2 followers, does that mean you get to kill the Orcus and you get to kill the, I'm confusing these cards. Sorry. You have to target the Lloyd first. Does it mean you get to hit the Lloyd and you get to hit the Orcus then? In that case, it just basically they get to hit you in the face. Then you get to completely counter it. And then you'd have this, which would keep coming out over and over again. And Aura is really, really strong, everybody. So one way or another, I'm super happy to open it. And everybody, we're going to be playing this deck. So if you're interested in that deck, everybody, stay tuned. Consider subscribing. But it's really the other Runecraft card, everybody. The other legendary seems super strong to me. This one didn't jump out to me as being super powerful. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if people end up it's basically, it doesn't get played for 8 mana. Would not be surprised at all. The super evolve does at least give it that potential. So at least when you play it on turn 8, you're not just completely dying because you can super super evolve it and at least get board back to some extent. I feel like that's another really hard card to judge. And well, we're going to judge that card by playing out because we are definitely going to be playing it quite a bit. If I don't open the other legendary for Runecraft, I'm just going to craft them all. I'm probably going to end up crafting 3 copies most likely of the other Runecraft legend because yeah, I think it seems absolutely incredible, insane in probably every Runecraft deck, even potentially. Band of Battle Princesses. All right, Swordcraft. Okay, everybody, we've got our 2-mana spell here that we can combo with that one thing. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. So that other guy was a 3/3 and evolve it. It becomes a 5/5. You draw this and you get to deal 4 damage and enhance it to 4, deal damage to 3 random enemy followers instead. So comboed with this, it's basically a 5/5 and deal 4 damage for 4. And you have to use an evolve point. Enhance 4, deal damage to 3. I think this card seems actually really good to me. This Band of the Battle Princesses. Enhance 4, deal 4 damage to 3 random followers. I mean, that's basically a board clear, isn't it? I feel like that's just like one of the best removal cards in the game at this point. You can always trade turn 2. You just always can just trade for 4. In fact, on turn 3, you can trade with whatever they play. And then once it gets to 4 mana, it's a really good removal spell. Okay, I really like Band of the Battle Princesses. Okay, Dragoncraft 1 mana. What the heck does this do? I guess it's an amulet, right? Does this thing stay out? Yeah, engage 1. I think these are called amulets, right? So it stays on the field, engage 1, destroy it, select an allied follower on the field, and give it +1/+1. And the last words, summon this thing back. Wow, that's so cool. It's like an equipment card for Magic the Gathering. This is literally, there's literally a card in Magic, one of the first, I think it was one of the first equipments that came out. This is literally just that card. It's literally just an equipment with equip cost 1, give it +1/+1, which was always really strong in Magic the Gathering, by the way. At least in draft, it was always insane. I'm thinking of in drafting, it was always a great pick. But what about in Shadowverse, everybody? How good is this in Shadowverse? Whew, boy. What does my initial gut feeling say about a 1/1 equiper in Dragoncraft? This is going to obviously have to go in the face versions, which I've actually played quite a bit. Do I want this in my face Dragoncraft? Yeah, I think I actually do want that in my face Dragoncraft. Combos really well with Fan of Otohime, which half the games you just sit there and Fan of Otohime them down and just kill them with Fan of Otohime over and over again. I think this card's pretty playable. I think you could definitely try it out in the face version. And yeah, in the face version, it's just basically always going to be adding that +1 point. You can play it on turn 1 instead of Fan of Otohime. I could absolutely see it playing at least like 1 or more copies of that one. Puppet Cat. Portalcraft. Can we get a bad card for Portalcraft, everybody? Fanfare. If there's a super evolved ally follower on the field, okay, I guess this is going to be kind of a theme in this set. Add a to your hand and give it +3/+0. Can Portalcraft get a bad card? So far, I think the answer is pretty much no. This is at least not a bad card, right? I just said the exact same thing for that neutral one that had almost the same effect. Is basically you're always getting your 2/2 for 2, which is totally fine on turn 2, and getting a 4 damage for 0, basically, if you're later in the game. Only if there's a super evolved ally follower. It's so conditional. It's so conditional to the point where, you know what, everybody? Maybe Portalcraft actually got a bad card finally. Maybe is that the first bad Portalcraft card potentially? All right, Dark Side. Okay, this is cool. Neutral, select a follower on the field. Okay, and give it +2/-2. Yeah, I did see this card also. This, and of course, there's it's like in Simpsons when they say Simpsons did it, or who was it? Who was it? South Park that always said Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it. In pretty much every card game nowadays, if anybody out there played Magic long enough, there's always a Magic did it for pretty much everything in every one of these games. We literally just saw a card that was just identical to, I think it was like Scimitar from Mirrodin in Magic the Gathering, and this one is, what was it called in Magic? Was it called Nameless Inversion? It was a black spell for, it was literally 2 mana, had the same effect except it was +3/-3. That card I actually used to play in Magic the Gathering. I played that in Fairies. The one time I basically had a tier 1 meta deck in Magic the Gathering, I played Fairies, and I believe I played Nameless Inversion, and I believe it was actually quite strong. You could randomly get wins in the game by targeting your own minion, then you can randomly kill theirs. This is obviously quite a bit worse than Nameless Inversion. 2 versus 3, I feel like it's actually a huge difference here. So for this, basically on turn 2, you always get to kill their guy, and then you can only get a +2/-2. Whew, boy, kind of hard to judge, to be honest. It's not leaping out to me. If it was +3/-3, it'd be much better. It's not leaping out to me as being totally amazing. All right, face decks could probably make pretty good use of it, but they'd probably just rather play a good 2/2 most of the time if they're a face deck. So my guess, by the way, the art is super, super cool. I love the art. My guess is going to be, okay. It's going to be basically just okay, and probably won't really be played very much is my guess. Name, Colette, Barrage, Exorcist. This is a Havencraft, none with a gun. Fanfare, do this 1 time. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. If there are at least 2 amulets, then do it 2 times. Okay, I think that you can probably get 2 amulets a decent amount of the time as Havencraft. We just saw another 2 mana one that you could easily play. So then basically this is a 2 mana, or sorry, it's a 2/2 for 3, and you get to deal 2 damage 2 times. How good is that? It's basically just fine. Yeah, I think it's basically just fine. It's not going to do anything too crazy. As soon as you get to turn 4-5, when people are playing all their insane plays, Alouettes and Anagreas and stuff, it's not really going to do anything at all anymore. So it gets outclassed pretty much immediately as soon as you go up in mana. So it just kind of holds down the board against aggro decks. Yeah, I could see it potentially being played. It's a little bit situational situational. If you don't draw the 2 amulets, it's garbage. So I could see it potentially pretty much just not being played. Best case scenario, it's going to be fine as long as you draw those amulets, but it's not going to do anything too insane, I think. Helps you against some face decks and stuff. Yeah, just solidly fine, I think. Name Flight of Icarus, Portalcraft. Okay, can we get a bad card for Portalcraft? And is this even like some of the themes in some of the classes? Like I can never even understand the theme. What is the theme of this for Portalcraft? Is it bit themed? Is this an artifact, I guess? Select an artifact follower. Okay, I guess it's an artifact. There's an artifact wing. Follow it in your hand and give it rush. And last words, draw a card. An artifact follower. So I'm not 100% sure if I know what that means. I'm assuming artifact follower, those are the ones that you build. So for 1 mana, you can give, okay, wow. I think Portalcraft finally got a card that is basically not going to be used. Now, because you get to summon those kind of mirages sometimes that they die at the end of the turn or whatever, this would actually be quite good with that. So maybe if the decks start running those temporary versions, like we just saw that one that was the 2 mana, and then for 3 mana, I think we opened it again in this pack. Okay, maybe the last pack. For 2 mana, and then for 3 mana, you get to put like a Mirage copy out. You give it this rush with this card first, then you put the Mirage out. Ooh, very happy to get another one of those cards right there. Ooh, that card looks so cool. Wow, I love the look of this. Art is just awesome. What is it? Havencraft. I feel like Havencraft is probably my favorite art style and just in general in this game of just the cards look cool always. Maddening Benison. Restore 10 defense to your leader. Okay, I did see this one. Gain a crest, and in 2 turns you deal 10 to your leader. Yeah, I think this card is absolutely totally, wait for it. I think this is actually a playable card. Havencraft, I feel like one of the archetypes is going to be basically just kind of setting up for that huge combo turn with the, what's her name? Jean or whatever. You're basically just setting up for your huge combo turn, setting up all the pieces to pop at the same time, play a Jean and just kill your opponent outright. And in a deck like that, this just buys you like that one final turn to wait until you get your Jean out, and then you basically just combo kill them. I think that would be a pretty fun way to play this card, actually. So, all right, look at that. We've already got all duplicates. So we can finally start kind of moving through these packs a little bit faster. Ooh, getting lots of golds. Okay, happy with that. All right, here we go. Okay, Carnelia, Ember of Darkness. All right, class, Portalcraft. Can we get one more bad card, please? Fanfare, add a Gear of Remembrance. Okay, that's the blue one, I believe. Evolve, select an artifact follower in your hand and give it ward, and it can't be destroyed by ability. Whoa, holy moly. You have to evolve to get that. But because this is 2-2 where you already get the gear, I think this card is just straight up better than the 2-2 that tons of Portalcraft decks that I played against were always playing. They were always playing that 2-2 where you also just get a gear. And this ability is way better, right? I think. So I think this is just a straight up upgrade. So no, Portal cannot really get bad cards. Wow, this is my first one of this and it's a premium. Cultivator of Malice. Okay, Abysscraft 1/1. All right. This is going to have to be, in my opinion, insanely good to be able to be using Abysscraft because it messes up the Cerberus turns. Last words, add a ghost in your hand. In my opinion, that is not good enough as a 1/1 for Abysscraft. Maybe you can play it in other archetype, like for example, like a Go Face Abysscraft. Maybe that could be using Go Face, but with Cerberus, ugh, boy. So, ugh, boy. All right, Hinakar and Jaffa Sheheh Firestorm Duo. All right, class, neutral. Enhance 5, evolve this follower. Last words, if this follower is evolved, deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. Okay, 2/2 for 2, so baseline is fine. Enhance 5, evolve it, which is actually pretty darn good, I would say. And then last words, if this follower is evolved, deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. So it's basically for 5 mana, comes out as a 4/4 rush, and then it deals 4 to a random enemy follower. Everybody, I'm gonna say this is not good enough. 2/2 for 2 is just normal, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then, you know, again, I'm just comparing it to the other 4 and 5 drops you're going to be playing against. And I can't really think of any other 4 or 5 drops that are the strong ones that people are playing. I mean, everybody, we're going to be playing against Alouette. Portalcraft is Reign of Dominance. This is like just the beginning of the Reign of Dominance of Portalcraft. I'm not saying necessarily that Portalcraft is the best deck. I watched just a little bit of other YouTube videos from people that seem to really know what they're talking about the game. Everybody seems to basically be able to consensus that Forestcraft was actually the best deck. Even though, you know, if you go on Reddit, nobody's complaining against Forestcraft. They're always saying, oh, it's all Runecraft and Portalcraft, they're too OP. But then you actually listen to people who have been playing the game for years, they all actually said that Forestcraft seemed to be the best deck last month. But despite that, it doesn't matter because everybody's still going to be playing Portalcraft. Like when you enter the lobby tournaments, the last lobby tournament, I played against Portalcraft 4 times in a row out of 4 matches. And even if it's not as good as Forestcraft in some kind of technical sense, I don't know. I mean, it's still basically as good as it. If it gets edged out by Forestcraft, I feel like it can't be by much, right? And man, I feel like this set, the cards I have seen, it just seems like it's going to be absolutely crazy. So with that, everybody, get ready to play against your Alouettes on turn 5. Be ready to figure out how to beat Alouettes Alouette. And this card, in my opinion, absolutely does not beat Alouette. So yeah. Now, one thing about this also, though, I've been kind of looking for cards that actually you could pair with the Olivia Dark Angel. And, you know, finally, I think this card, like almost none of the cards work with Olivia Archangel, but this one, Last Words, if it's evolved, deal 4 to a random enemy follower. It's like, okay, maybe finally I actually have a card that combos with it. All right, love the art as always. I love the Havencraft arts, apparently. I guess I'm just going to have to play Havencraft someday. Dias, Oracle of Malice. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and give it at the end of your turn, destroy this card. Phew, boy, if it was Magic the Gathering, I'd say there's potential here, but gosh, I don't know. Shadowverse has been so fast, and like you just die so fast and so quick. I feel like kind of slow. But at the same time, it's a 2/2 for 2, which is already totally fine. If they play a 2/2 on turn 2, if you play this, it basically guarantees that you get to kill their 2/2 at least. Like no matter what happens, they play in like a face rush deck. No matter what happens, you're still going to get the kill on their card. I think that could actually be played, to be honest. This is kind of crazy. I actually think, yeah, generally that could be played. You can also pair it up with some ward stuff to kill some larger stuff and then just drop some ward defenders out. I think it's really interesting. And yeah, I think it could potentially see play. Divine Guard, class, Havencraft. Select an allied follower on the field with ward. Give it +0/+1. Deal X damage to a random enemy follower. X elected follower's defend. Wow, everybody. Okay. I think this card's totally good. It's basically, you know, like in Runecraft, I was playing a million times where you just have that 1 mana spell that deals damage. This is not going to be probably as good as that because this one, unfortunately, it's yeah, I don't know. Is this card good, everybody? You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't good because you don't ever get to just use it. Like in Runecraft, when I was playing the 1 mana spell and killing guys for 2, like I used it so many times on turn 2 and 3 to just kill somebody, like kill their random 2/2 for 2 that they played. With this, you just can't really do that. But you'd be probably playing all your 2/2s would probably be ward guys. You could play like that 1/3 ward for 2 mana. Then this becomes a deal. Oh yeah, and it's a +1. So you know what, everybody? I think this card's good. I think Divine Card's good. Divine Guard is good. I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now. It's a good card, and I think it is going to see some play. Ooh. All right, I know what that one does because I saw the spoiler for that one. And this is, let's start with the Synchronous of Hearts, everybody. This card seems absolutely insane to me. Lloyd is just so ridiculously good and strong. 1/6, and the opponent has to select it for abilities, and it's got ward. I think Lloyd is just so good. And then this Victoria card, I saw this. So it summons both of these for 6 mana. You get both these cards, Victoria Rush, and it's basically got double strike for Magic the Gathering. Follower strike, it deals X. As I understand it, this is going to deal 6/4. It has to do its hit. Wait. X, yeah, is this follower's attack. So it deals 6, which is huge, by the way. Ugh, guys, yeah, oh my gosh. It's going to be played in like, I don't know if it's good enough that it's going to be played in like every Portal Craft or not. I can't, the set just came out. I can't judge it quite to the level where I know if this is just like absolutely bonkers, bust broken or not. But whether it's completely busted, bonkers, broken or not, Portal Craft cannot really get bad cards given to it. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing this card played over and over and over against us. And I have a feeling it's going to be insanely strong. Once again, how do I evaluate these cards? I evaluate it against, you know, like my Anangrea. Now, against Anangrea, it is actually kind of a little bit slow. And you know what? I did forget that the Lloyd doesn't get the ability to actually kill. I forgot that that came from the Orcus. So I don't know. Let's just think. Let's just think for a moment, everybody. Okay. All right. Turn 5, they play Alouette. They get basically a 5/3 and a 4/6 because they evolved it. The Victoria kills the 4/6 without taking damage. Then you're left with these two, and then they get to remain with an artifact out. It's not totally insane. How about against Anangrea? Against Anangrea, if they get to leave the blocker out, then, but the problem is if you get to leave your blocker out, you probably had to hit something with the blocker. It's probably taking some damage. This is a puppet deck, so the puppet also probably has some puppet stuff in the hand to deal with also, like some of those 0 mana guys saved in the hand. So then they get to just Victoria insta-kill your 6/6 Anangrea potentially, and then they still got the Lloyd out, and then the Victoria is just hanging back so strong with the Lloyd defense. Everybody, I think the card is super, super strong. That's my take on it. Is it going to be bonkers broken or not? I'm not sure, but seems totally, totally strong. Name Neptune, Arbiter of Tides. I think I saw this one already. Dragoncraft. Okay, 5. It's a 7 mana 5/5 fanfare. Gain crest. Neptune, Arbiter of Tides. Summon 2 copies of Majestic Megalorca. That's the one that we saw. It's a 2/2 rush. Okay, so 5 plus 2 2/2 rushers, and it's got ward. Okay, can we have some potential here? Super Evolve, summon 2 copies, 2 more copies, I guess. And whenever an allied Marine follower enters the field, restore 1 defense to your leader. You press as soon as it fanfare. So you're immediately going to get +2 health, 2/2 rushes, and a 5/5 ward. And then you can get 2 more and restore. So you can restore 4, and you can swarm the board with 2/2s. Everybody, wow, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. I think that this card has potential. And then you're going to copy it, play it alongside, obviously, that 2 mana spell with the 2/2s. You could potentially follow it up, swarming again with 3 more of these. Combos well with that card in general. You have to super evolve it, which it's not the end of the world. So super evolve this, it's an 8/8, and then you get to just swarm the board with 2/2s, and you get 4 defense. You know, there's already that card in Swordcraft where you get basically what you get, like 3 3/2s or 4 3/2s with rush. We'll often end up having to evolve it. maybe this card's not good enough because you have to waste a super evolve. But even if you don't have to super evolve, just getting the +2 and they both have rush 5/5 ward. What do you guys think about the Neptune? Everybody. My final verdict on that one is name Engine Blade Maven. All right, can Portalcraft get a bad card? I think this is gonna be the first bad card. It's a 6 mana 4/5. This has got to be the first bad one that can't compete with anything in the game right now. Fanfare. Summon a striker artifact that is a 5/1 with rush. All right, add a gear of remembrance to your hand. Okay, of course they're never really like bad cards. Like even this card is not really bad, right? You get a 4/5 and you get a 5/1 rush, and then evolve, replicate the ability, so you get another 5/1. Okay, so like even against this, now you have to waste an evolution. Like even against a Synchronous Hearts, like you're getting a 1/6 to Synchronous Hearts. Like you can't even fight through. You basically can't fight through it. I guess that's the first card that, of course, as always, they can't really get a bad card, but I think that card is not going to be played in the end. Unsurprisingly, there have to be some of these copy cards that are just unplayable. Lucrative deal, Swordcraft. Okay, it's another 2. You get to draw 2 and your opponent draws a card. So it's basically a draw card. We'll just call this draw 1 card. You can combo it. Like I said, I was waiting for these 2 mana spells for Swordcraft to see how they pair with that evolution guy. So you get basically for 4 mana, you get a 5/5. You spend an evolution point and you get to draw a card. The fact though, honestly, this is actually pretty good. Draw 2 cards, you draw 1. In like face decks, this effect is like really strong. And Swordcraft, you can kind of go face. You can have like a really strong start, play that gold guy, that 4/4 gold on turn 4, evolve it, get a really strong start, hit your opponent down a lot, and just kind of go all in. And then once you've exhausted your resources, this is effectively just a draw true and try to set up for a finisher turn. I could totally see that card being played, absolutely. Veer Heartslayer, we already saw. Ooh, everybody, we got another. All right, we already got our first double legend 10-pack, maybe even a triple legend if I get crazy lucky here, which I did not. Okay, or did I? Here we go. Okay. Okay, Gildaria. Okay, I did also watch, I think I watched 1 or 2 other YouTubers talk a little bit about some of those reveals too. And I think I heard somebody talk about this one. Gildaria and Anathema Feast. All right, let's see this. Fanfare, Rally 20. Rally is, it counts the number of allied followers that have entered the field during the match. Some abilities only activate if your rally count is equal to or greater than the specified number. Okay, so basically 20 minions, or I guess followers, have to enter the field. I feel like 20 is a lot. I feel like when I saw on Reddit people talking about this one, and even the other YouTubers that I heard talk about this, I feel like they were all saying it's basically kind of totally OP, busted, broken, insane card. But I don't know, everybody. I feel like 20 is a lot, right? Like it takes a really long time to get 20. Even as Swordcraft, play a 2. Like you play something on turn 2. On turn 3, maybe you get 2 guys. Maybe on turn 2, even you got 2 guys. So let's say it's like pretty optimal. Like you got 2 guys, and then you got another 2, that's 4. Then you go crazy. You get the 4/4 on turn 4. You evolve it, that's 3 more. You got 7. And then still like, okay, then turn 5, maybe you can go crazy. You get the guy that puts 4 guys out there. Now you've got 11 guys. You're still kind of far away. You're only halfway there, and that's with perfect start. I feel like this 20 is just like, are people overestimating how easy it is to get 20 minions? I feel like it's going to take a while to get 20 minions. So I feel like this is just not going to happen as often as maybe people are thinking right now. Whenever another allied follower enters the field, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. That is obviously quite strong. And whenever this follower evolves, summon 2 copies of Steelclad Knight. Those should be 2/2s. Yep, 2/2s, and give them rush. All right, everyone. I guess I got to have one spicy hot take in my video. I think this card might be a bit overrated by people. I don't think that this Fanfare Rally is going to happen that often. I feel like, am I totally misjudging this, everybody? 20 is so high. Like, obviously, you have to kind of build the deck to make sure that you're getting enough to 20. I don't feel like this is, number 20 is easy. I don't think this is easy. So I don't think this is going to happen all that often as much as people think. If you're playing 3 of these in your deck, you're going to want to play it on turn 6, and you're not going to get this. Now, the fact of the matter is the card super strong even without the Rally 20? And turn 6, you evolve it and you get 2 2/2s. So it just deals 2 to all enemies. You get the 2 2/2s. And yeah, I guess it is really strong, right? Even without the Rally, it's super strong, right? So yeah, maybe this is as good as everybody says. You get to deal 2 to all of the enemy stuff, and you get 2 2/2s. Once again, what's the test that we do? Well, let's compare it against that Portalcraft card we just saw that summons a Lloyd and the other chick. All right, it kills the chick, and then you get to kill the Lloyd, and you have a pretty favorable trade. You have to spend one evolution, just a regular evolution. All right, how about against Anne and Greya? You spend a regular evolution, and it basically just trades with Anne and Greya, so it's fine. What about against Alouette? They got a 5/3 and a 4/6. This becomes a 6/6, and you only have to trade one of the 2/2s, and you've got yourself a pretty favorable trade. So yeah, it's going to be played. It's going to be played. It's going to be pretty good, pretty strong. Good to see it. I think maybe people are maybe overrating a little bit. Maybe it's not going to be totally OP, but yeah, it's probably always going to be strong. So I don't know. Maybe it is like people say. Maybe it is just super good. Voila, the Blast Swing. All right, Abysscraft. All right, what can we get for 3 mana in Abysscraft? 2/4 Rush. So stats and everything totally fine. Whenever another allied follower super evolves, give it and this follower +0. But it's only got Rush. Man, if this had Storm, you know, then we'd be talking here. Whenever another allied follower super evolves, give it and this follower +2. It's just Rush. Yeah, it's Rush. Okay, everybody. I think that one's kind of, honestly, I should probably just dismiss it and say it's not that great, but I don't know. 2/4 Rush is like kind of fine. It gets to stay out, and then you could potentially set up for like a mega huge Cerberus turn the next turn. Really hard to judge, honestly, for that one. All right, Swordcraft. We've got a little girl carrying a rifle. Saria, the gunslinger maid. That makes sense. All right, pretty interesting lore here. Fanfare. Deal 1 damage to 2 random enemy followers. Wow. It's a 2/1, deal 1 damage to 2 random enemy followers. I guess I don't know if these can pair. If these can both hit the same one, then I feel like this card may actually be kind of insane, to be honest. It's like, I don't think there's any other card in the game where they play their 2/2 for 2, and then you play your 2/1 and you get killed their 2/2. If it can hit the same one, I feel like this is actually really, really strong, right? All right, that's my card I'm picking, everybody, for a card that's going to be underrated by people, depending on if those two can both pile up on the same guy. All right, Forestcraft, Cynthia, Chivalrous Elf. And by the way, we're going to just end this video after this 10 pack. We've gone over pretty much, I think, probably most of the bronzes, a lot of silvers and stuff. So we'll come back and we'll do another 20 pack, everybody. And then that should kind of finish off our thoughts on most of the cards. So feel free to stay tuned for that if you enjoy this. Feel free to give me any feedback, by the way. Let me know if you prefer a style where I already kind of read through all the cards first and then kind of give you my thoughts. If people are interested to hear my thoughts on the cards, just let me know what you think in the comments, everybody that's made it this far. Let me know. Happy to kind of get feedback, people that are enjoying the content I've been putting out on the channel. By the way, thanks everybody again for all the positive comments. Got a lot of subscriptions lately. It's been really cool, everybody. So thank you for that. And keep it coming. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet. All right, let's finish this off. Cynthia, Chivalrous Elf, Forestcraft, Fanfare, summon 2 copies of Fairy. Okay, should be a 1/1 with Rush there. And that is exactly what it is. Evolve. Give all allied pixie followers on the field +1/+0. Now you compare this. There is the legendary in Forestcraft, which I am sure I will end up playing, where you get fairies that they all get Storm. If you've already played that, then this could be really, really strong, I think, right? Because now, like, you're going to have a couple fairies in your hand. Now you're dropping 2 out plus easily, you know, 2, easily 2 in your hand. So you play 2 from your hand, play 2 from the Fanfare, and then you use the Evolve. Super Evolve this, and this thing is going to get 1 more damage in. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. You know, this is basically becoming as good as any of the other legendaries for just smashing in with face damage using a bunch of fairies that you've already built up. And they, like I said, they all get stormed from that legendary. Everybody, Forestcraft's going to be really strong, I think. And I am pretty much guaranteed going to be playing that as my next class, I think, that I focus on. I would potentially choose Portalcraft, but I don't know, everybody. Maybe it's too boring since I literally play against Portalcraft in like 50% of the matches I play in this game. Maybe it would be just too boring for me to play Portalcraft, everybody. It's too OP. It's kind of the class that everybody hates, including myself. So I don't know. Maybe supposedly Forestcraft is the strongest deck anyway. So I think we're going Forestcraft. And honestly, I think I'm going to enjoy Forestcraft way more because I like the combo playstyle of it. The Roach combo, it seems really fun. Everybody always posts on Reddit those like combo puzzles. Seems really fun, right? All right, Laura, the Cruel Commander. This is an Abysscraft card. All right, I'm wanting some strong cards in Abysscraft, everybody, because like I said, I think it's going to be my kind of guilt pleasure class, at least until it becomes really good and people start complaining about it. Fanfare, select another allied follower on the field and give it Bane. Oh man, they can never just seem so strong right off the bat. Super Evolve, select another allied follower on the field and give it Storm. Okay, now that, on the other hand, now here is something I'm interested in. Fanfare. The Fanfare is, oh boy. You can kind of set it up a little bit, but I mean, on turn 3, the stats aren't very good. So early on in the game, like this is the thing. In my opinion, this would stand alone with just a Fanfare is just straight up worse than the Portalcraft bronze card, the Medical Grade Assassin. The Medical Grade Assassin is basically just better than this, in my personal opinion. Now, you can figure out ways to combo this to make it almost as good as a Medical Grade Assassin, but even then, it's still worse than a Medical Grade Assassin. I'm pretty sure it's just worse. I feel like this card is Medical Grade Assassin better than this. Anyways, okay. Super Evolve, but then with the Super Evolve, now this I'm very, very interested in this, everybody. Totally my interest. Is there a way that you can do some insane stuff? Actually, now that I'm reading this again, I remember somebody posting on the Reddit about a way that you can combine this with some other Abysscraft card, which I've kind of got. I think there's like some other huge Abysscraft card that comes out that you could, oh yeah, that's right. It's the legendary that reanimates 3 drops. So you set that up and then you reanimate this and then Super Evolve it when you play like a huge drop. Everybody, let's get that 10/10 elephant out, everybody. Let's get that 10/10 elephant out and Super Evolve it. it and give it Storm. That's how we're going to win, baby. That's an incoming video. I used 1010 Elephant Storm to win the game. Most OP broken card in the game. That's the thumbnail. All right, summon 2 copies of Bat. For 2 mana, the Bat is a 1/1 with Drain. Personally, God, it's like, can you make a bad Portalcraft card and then can you make a good Abysscraft card? I just never like any of these cards. This is my personal opinion. I love Cerberus. I think Cerberus is just insane and OP, and I don't really like comboing Cerberus with 1/1 bats. I feel like that's just not the play with Cerberus, is to get a bunch of 1/1 bats back. Now, with that said, you know, if you're playing, I don't know, Face Rush, this is still just basically the same as every other card in the game. Now, control variants. If you're playing control, honestly, this isn't bad for 2/2 for like a control variant. And I really do want to try to play like a control variant Abysscraft. You're just gonna hear me say over and over again. Take any class and hear me say, I want to play a control variant of that particular class. And well, I guess you're just gonna hear it over and over again. All right, finally starting to get a bunch of dupes here. This is probably the last pack everybody. So this is probably the end of the vid here. But yeah, I mean, in control, it's just 2 1/1s that have Drain. Honestly, not bad, right? So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't strike me as particularly strong. All right, ooh, okay, this is probably the last Runecraft card that I have not seen. So this, all right, everybody, my final little piece of excitement to end this video out, because Runecraft is probably my favorite class in the game, I think, and I've played it pretty much all of last month. Named Virgin Rejected Artes class is Runecraft. Fanfare. Summon 2 copies of Onion Patch. What the heck is an Onion Patch? What the heck is this? It's a 1/1 with Rush. Whoa. And Strike is Spell Boost your hand. Jeez, everybody. I'm sitting here complaining against Portalcraft, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there who are reading through these cards and they're saying the same thing about Runecraft. I play Runecraft, so I'm not going to complain too much about it, obviously. I'm biased, everybody. I'm declaring my bias right now. This is seeming pretty strong to me, everybody, already. Wow, that's just a regular Fanfare. Ooh, this is seeming really strong already, everybody. Evolve. Gain Crest at the start of your turn. Are you kidding me? It's every turn? Dude, there's no way this is every turn. It says at the start of your turn. It doesn't have a countdown. Summon an Onion Patch. It's got Rush and it's got Spell Boost. Oh boy, everybody. Do they pick a couple classes in the game and they give them everything? Everybody, this card. All right, maybe this is going to be my huge call of this from these first impression. This is going to be the one where I make the huge call that maybe nobody else made. I don't know. Are other people going to say this card is totally OP? I feel like is there any way people are going to say this card is just absolutely broken OP? Everybody, this card seems absolutely freaking insane to me. And I am going to finally play a dedicated Spell Boost deck. And everybody, come back if you want to see it. I am going to be playing me some Onion Patches when I play me some Spell Boost. This card, oh my God, it seems insane, everybody. Whoa. Whoa. Am I off on that one? Does that seem, wow, everybody. Whew, boy. All right, everybody. Well, in conclusion, everybody, since we're kind of starting off a new set, just final conclusion, I'm going to be playing some major Runecraft. I already got one of the legendaries I wanted for it. I'm gonna for sure craft the remaining legendaries. Probably after about 2 weeks is when I'll start crafting and finishing off my decks. We've got a month and a half of this set. So I'll probably go about 2 weeks before I start doing a lot of crafting. Probably start getting experience with all these different cards and just kind of playing them for fun. And then probably Forestcraft is going to be next. But also, yeah, I think we're going to play every possible variant of Runecraft. Enchanting Perfumer seems absolutely insane. Virgin Rejected Archie's absolutely insane. And then the other legendary seems absolutely insane. So Earth Sigils can be really interesting to see. I'm going to go like dedicated Earth Sigil. I'm going to go dedicated Spell Boost. Ooh, that's actually pretty cool, right? And then I'm also going to try Hybrid. So stay tuned for that. And then we're going to choose the second class this month because I got a ton of vials I haven't spent yet. So stay tuned, everybody. And if you like this and you enjoy my thoughts on these cards, then come back probably tomorrow. We'll do basically like 20 or even maybe like 30 packs. I'll go ahead and get some rupees saved up and do something like a 20 pack, a little shorter, more concise video, everybody. All right, let's leave it at that. I've yapped enough. See you later.